Hey guys, welcome to our vlog. What is up everybody? My name is Travis.
And my name is Ryan.
And we are starting a vlog. So we are both actually airline employees for a US major carrier. And we live here in Austin, Texas. Ryan is a flight attendant and I work ground operations. How long have you been flying now?
17 years.
Okay.
I've been with the company for 19, and I started on the ground. I worked customer service for 3.5 years, or 3 years, 3 months, something like that. And then I went in flight in 2003, and it'll be 17 years in November.
So I'm actually brand new to the company. So a little backstory is I've been in real estate forever. And we actually own a real estate brokerage here in Austin, Texas. But we've reached a point in our lives where the company's doing well. I mean, his schedule is great. He has so much seniority, and we thought now's the time for me to also jump into the airline industry. I've been an aviation geek since I was a kid. I mean, my favorite pastime still to this day is to go out and watch planes land at the airport, which I feel like there's a community who super get me on that. And then there's another community who are like, that's weird, but I'm obsessed with it. So I thought now was a great time to jump into it. So he's flying, I'm on the ground, which I'm super excited about. We also have 2 little fur babies. Well, not little, one of them's a Great Dane and a Dachshund. But so we need someone here based at home who can, of course, take care of them. And obviously when we travel, we have pet sitters, but we definitely wanted to document our journey. I mean, I'm just getting started in the airline industry, so now is the best time. So.
Yeah. And we've done trips together, so this vlog, we want to make it a little bit different and give you different perspectives, because I can obviously give you the in-flight perspective, now being on the in-flight side and being a flight attendant, and then he can give you the ground operations side of it. And also my background being customer service, I also know the ground side of it as well. And this might be good for the future for different vlogs we might put out where we give, we either do Q&A on it, or we can give advice.
Airport tips, all kinds of stuff.
Our best tips and just put them out there. I know that we have a big part of the world, they only travel for holidays and they only travel for, special events. So travel tips might help them, and also it might ease the fearful flyers,
yeah.
I would assume.
And then we also know that there's a huge community of aspiring flight attendants, aspiring airline future employees who are always looking for content, whether it be for questions answered, ease your mind. And we know that there are a ton of other vloggers out there who do this same kind of thing. And by no means are we trying to top anyone. Are we trying to make better content per se? We're actually extremely inspired by these people, which is why we're starting our own vlog. We're actually obsessed right now with 3 airline vloggers and 1 travel vlog. So the ones we're binge watching right now, well, first and foremost, Kara and Nate.
Yes.
With just all kinds of travel. They are a amazing couple who are doing a 100 country goal. That is their full-time job. They're just traveling around the world for the past 3.5 years.
And it was supposed to be a short-term thing, and they were just going to go out and travel and see the world as long as they could afford to, and it's turned into
a career almost. Yeah. They're doing
but
great.
It's definitely a lifestyle. I wouldn't necessarily call it a career, because I mean, there's a lot of stuff that the more videos we watch, the more behind the scenes stuff we get to see, and they switch things up constantly because something didn't work, or if you get to see their bloopers, then you can see that,
they're just real people.
Yeah.
Like when you watch their vlogs, it looks so seamless and so, like nothing could ever go wrong in their lives. But you do get a good sense of the behind the scenes and the good, bad, and the ugly, which is what we want to show as well.
Yeah, we know that this video isn't going to be the best video we put out there.
No, for sure.
It's something that we're gonna, as we grow, we're gonna learn, different techniques and all that stuff. and
Oh, we're
we'll be able to
definitely-
perfect it. So I'm sipping my tea because I know there's going to be some shade in the comments.
We're definitely gonna look back on this in a year and be like, oh, what were we thinking? But I feel like every vlog goes through its growing pains. Yes, I feel like we're a little bit late to the game, but I mean, we've been spending our time lately watching so many vlogs. We just got super inspired.
Yeah.
Oh, and then for the 3 airline focused vlogs that we're watching right now, it's EK over at United. Hey, girl.
Hey.
Life by Francisco at American and Stella over at American. So we actually just got finished watching a Stella before we started filming this, but we have mad respect for you guys and for the level of comfort and professionalism that you put into your vlogs. So we're coming at this as looking up to you guys, not by any means trying to step on toes or do better.
We're not stealing anybody's idea. This is something that we have been working on for a couple of months now. We actually got a couple different cameras
It's
to
trial
try
and
the
error.
equipment and all that stuff. So we have finally, this is what works for us now. We're not at the comfort level of walking around with a camera in our face with a big mic. And I'm not knocking the ones that do that. I give you mad props because I'm not there yet.
We will be. We'll eventually get our comfort level there, but it's still a little out of our box. But that's why we're doing this. It's good for us to force ourselves to get outside of our box. And real quick, we mentioned that we're not stealing into anyone's idea, and we are by no means stealing this idea, but it's one that we want to try. Do you remember when we were watching the YouTube video by this guy named Olives? He's a flight attendant. And what he does is he just shows up to the airport and has like a random person pick on the board, on the departure board where he's gonna go next, and he just hops on that plane. That's something that would get me so outside of my comfort zone. I really want to try that. Sidebar, we need to do that.
But maybe not to that example, but maybe we'll switch it up and do our own style where we'll give
for
the
sure.
viewers multiple different options. And eventually we're going to have an Instagram page that matches this vlog title, but then not just that, also have a Facebook page and stuff, so where our viewers can go on and comment and we can throw ideas out there and show pictures along the way. We picked tonight to start because I'm actually going on a 2-day trip tomorrow. I will be in Orange County tomorrow night. I'm doing 2 flights there and then 3 flights back home. And yeah, so I'm going to be taking the camera with me on this trip, and this will be my first solo, so bear with me. I'm going to try my best.
But you're flying with a friend. So one of our friends, her name is Brandy. She is also a flight attendant. And
she's been with the company 18 years, and her and I jive. We fly a lot together. It's rumored that she's my work wife and I'm her work husband, and her husband also works for the company, and it's okayed and all that. So, but yeah, we have a good time flying together. We get each other, and I try to give the best customer service out there. And I really love traveling for my job. I couldn't ever see myself going to a 9-to-5. Once you have the taste of flight, it is very hard to get it out of your blood because we have such a relaxed schedule. Also, I mean, I do have seniority, and I do remember what it was like being new, and there was a little less flexibility, but I have the flexibility now. I can take time off. We can do trips. We went to Paris and London last year for a little over almost 2 weeks.
Yeah. It was about 11 or 12 days when you count travel in.
And so being airline employee, we get non-rev discounts on other carriers. Some other carriers extend that to us, and our airline extends it to their employees. And with that being said, when you travel non-rev, which is space available, it can get kind of hairy, and I want to make sure we show that side of it as well.
Sure.
Because I think a lot of times people get the misconception that we can just jump on any plane we want to jump on, or that it's just limited to our airline, which that is not the case. We're able to fly on multiple different carriers.
Yeah, but I want to emphasize, there are a lot of people who think that because we work for an airline, it's this super glamorous lifestyle of travel. Literally, we'll bring you on a trip and show you that, yeah, we may get to fly fairly cheap, but it is a process. And you can't expect the unexpected in the non-rev travel game. So we were just saying...
Probably, before we even get it any further, we probably have spent just as much time in airports as we have on planes.
Yeah,
to give you an idea. Like, that's, whether it's showing up extremely early in hopes that you're going to get on a flight, which you won't know until the last, probably 45 minutes, 30 minutes before the flight, if you're going to make it. And, I mean, our last travels together... Well, I made it on a flight and he did not.
That's true.
And he made it on the next flight. That was just a couple of weeks back.
But while we're talking about this, let's talk about our trip to Korea. So we went to Seoul, South Korea, 2 spring breaks ago. Keyword, spring break. What were we thinking? I don't know. So also in Austin, we have an event here called South by Southwest. It's this huge music, film, and interactive festival, which usually falls around... they try to make it fall on the week of spring break. So we actually went to Seoul, South Korea, just kind of literally on a whim. One of our friends was already going to be there, and we thought, we have the time off, let's just do it. It never fails that whenever we're trying to non-rev, we have no problems getting out of the country. It's coming back that's always the hairy situations.
Yeah. Definitely.
So we flew American Airlines from Dallas to Seoul nonstop, about 15 hours. No problems getting on the flight. It was great. We were anticipating flying that same route back, Seoul to Dallas on American. And at the time, it was wide open. I mean, there were plenty of seats to go. But us being experienced in the non-rev, we know to kind of get some backup plans in place just in case that one doesn't work out.
So we had multiple different airlines. We had multiple different city pairings just to make it back to the, on American soil. And then from there, we were going to fly multiple different airlines to get back to Austin. Or our car was actually at DFW airport at the time because we drove up there because the flight was...
It was an early flight.
In the morning, and we just thought it would be better to drive there instead of trying to get on the Austin flight to DFW and not have enough time to make sure we were on the standby list and made it onto that flight. So we got to Incheon Airport, Seoul, South Korea Airport.
Yeah, we got there really early in the morning because the Dallas flight was leaving fairly early. So the night before, like I said, we're experienced in this. We checked loads, everything looked good. We were thinking this is going to be a piece of cake. We're going to get on this flight, no problem. Well, where are we wrong? So, and it's not uncommon for carriers' loads to change drastically minute by minute. It's not uncommon. So at the time, the U.S. military was over in Seoul doing their drills that they do twice a year. And it seems like we picked the same day to return home as they did. And we get to the airport and every flight direct to the United States was booked. Every seat was booked. There was not a chance.
Well, I also think that they were released early because all those flights still had seats, like we said the night before.
Yeah.
We checked a couple of them. And I think they were released a little bit early because all those flights that had seats were completely full.
Every U.S.-based flight.
And we had to start getting creative. And I think we had got to the airport early in the morning.
Yeah.
And when we got on our plane, the one we finally made, it was dark out. Yeah. So we were there for like, I think it was like 10 hours. Maybe it was
10, maybe even more.
I don't know. 12, somewhere in there.
So it was looking like our best option was going to take the Cathay Pacific from Seoul to Hong Kong and then Cathay again from Hong Kong to LAX.
But we had a layover in Hong Kong for like 24 hours or something like that. So then I started to get nervous because I was thinking, well, we're going further away and we need to make our way back, going east. And so I said, well, maybe there's a better flight. And so we actually had seats on that flight and we had to tell the workers, I'm sorry, we're not going to take the flight. Yeah. And we had already looked at Hawaiian Airlines to Honolulu. They had an A330 going to Honolulu, and so I'm like, all right, let's go to Honolulu.
Because his thinking was, well, this will be on American soil, and we can take a myriad of routes back to Austin or Dallas.
I mean, so many airlines now service Honolulu.
Yeah.
And that was my thinking, all right, cool, we'll have multiple different airlines. We're back on U.S. soil. And as soon as we gave the gate agent our boarding pass and they were scanning it, I looked at him and I said, we're going to Honolulu during spring break. Once again, that spring break passed. For some reason, we didn't think about it until right before we were about to go down the jet bridge. And I was like, oh my gosh, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But we ended up getting a 2-day vacation out of it, sort of, kind of.
Kind of. So we landed in Honolulu first thing in the morning from Seoul. And then we spent the majority of the morning, afternoon trying to get on a flight anywhere. I didn't care where it went in the United States. We tried flight after flight after flight, and there was no availability. So finally around 3 or 4 o'clock, we just kind of gave up and said, you know what, if we're going to be stuck, there's worse places to be stuck. It was my first time in Hawaii, period. So we ended up jumping on, I think it was like Hotwire, and we grabbed a hotel fairly cheap on the water.
Yeah, it was on the water. It had a really nice wraparound balcony. Yeah. So we had city views, and we also had ocean view. Yeah. So we had that. He got to see his first sunset in Hawaii, which is amazing, watching the sunset. And then we walked around the shops.
Had some dinner.
We went to a couple of different restaurants, and we settled on one. We had really good food and a really nice atmosphere. I remember it was even like a DJ or something. Yeah. It was like a Tuesday or Wednesday night, but it was also spring break.
Yeah.
And then, so from all the travels, we were supposed to get up early the next morning. Our bodies weren't really driving with that. Mm-hmm. And I actually had a migraine when we woke up because we had been traveling for so long, and it was kind of stressful for that whole, whatever it was, 10 hours, 12 hours that we were at the airport in Seoul. So we actually got up a little bit later. We hit snooze, and we ended up going to the airport later, and then we made it on...
We finally made it on an American flight from Honolulu to LAX. Once we got to the airport, it wasn't just... We didn't just magically get on a plane. I mean, we still had to sit through quite a few flights of disappointment because, I mean, it is what it is. That is the game of standby, which is what I wish more people understood who give us hell for always getting to go on these great vacations. We work for it. We do work for it.
Yes.
So we landed in LAX that evening, and there were still 3 flights going to Austin from LAX. But with Austin having South by Southwest, I mean, there were 50 people on the standby list trying to get 2 available seats. So it was interesting. I mean, so we had no choice but to just...
But then also we started thinking about what our next move was going to be once we got to LAX. And we got it to LAX at I want to say it was 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it was
and
dark.
I remember there were 3 options of flights to Austin because of South by Southwest. And I was thinking, all right, perfect. We'll get on one of those planes. We'll go home and we'll worry about our car later. And when we got over to the gate area, we saw that the standby list was forever long, and our name was already added on the standby list when we took off out of Honolulu because we were going on to Austin. And so it kept on. I mean, we were down at the bottom. There was 50 names above us.
There was no chance.
We knew we weren't going to make it, so I said, let's just have fun out of it. Either A, we go and get a hotel room for a couple hours, because we knew Southwest Airlines had a flight at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it was their
first flight of the day. So it was either go and get a hotel room for a couple hours and get a couple hours of sleep, or we can make an adventure out of it. So what we ended up doing is we walked through the Tom Bradley, the international terminal at LAX, and it's beautiful, and so much changes. So when I first started with our airline on the ground, I actually worked at customer service at LAX back in 2000. And boy, have things changed in that terminal. It reminded me a lot of Las Vegas. It was a lot of glitz and glamour, and
I mean, it's stunning.
It was Hollywood all the way around.
Yeah.
And
but mind you, it was like 10, 11 o'clock at night by the time we got there. There was no one in there.
Yeah, there was no one in there. The stores,
nothing was open.
The stores, there was a couple stores that were open, but like none of the food places were open, and so we at least got to see that. And I showed him Tom Bradley International Terminal, which in the future we'll be flying out of there to go on our travels. There's a couple of travels we want to do out of LAX. So then we made our way over to Southwest's terminal, and we kind of just hung out, and we were looking at pictures and reminiscing about our travels, and it taking us with the time change and everything. It looked like 4 days on paper, but really in hindsight it was 3 days. We lost a day, and then it was definitely an adventure. And then we got on the Southwest flight. They had seats available. We made it back to Austin.
We made it to Austin and then realized that our car was in Dallas. But there was no way that we were going to make it to Dallas that day. We were just so jet lagged, so exhausted.
And we got in fairly early. It was like around, I want to say like 11 in the morning with the time change, or maybe even 10 in the morning. And we just said no. And we ended up going, getting our babies, and just sleeping. We slept and slept and slept, got up, ate some food, slept some more. Then finally the next day I said, well, we need to go get our vehicles. So we had to fly up to Dallas to get our car, and in driving home outside of Waco, we got gas, and I had my wallet on my lap. It was dark in my car, and when I got out, I dropped my wallet. So my wallet was in a gas station parking lot, and we didn't realize it till we were 2 hours away from it, almost home. Turned around, and mind you, there was traffic, so it really bite. I mean, it was bad.
It was a stressful travel day. 3-4 days of travel, stressful period. But we got off on a pretty long tangent, but these are some of the kind of things that we experience, and like I said, it's super stressful in the moment, but we look back on it now, and it was all part of the adventure, and it was super fun.
And that's the thing. Obviously you can. It's all in your perspective. It's all in your outlook. And I'm not saying that there wasn't hairy times or times that I was thinking, what are we going to do? But then we had to sit down, we had to think about it, we had to bounce ideas off of each other and get down to business and figure out which flights we were going to take, and buying tickets. We spent a lot of money on getting tickets, but then we also got those refunded. So it's just the name of the game. But what I will say, a disclaimer, if you are a new airline employee, you need to use your benefits. Use your flight benefits. And I tell all the new hires I work with, you need to use your benefits, because it is an awesome perk, and you definitely need to use them.
Yeah. But whether you're experienced or new, if you're playing that, not just international, domestic as well, but even more so international, if you're playing the non-rev game, you need to always expect the unexpected, put a smile on your face, and just smile through the chaos, because it's going to happen, whether you like it or not. At some point it's going to happen. Expect the unexpected, but you can't do anything but just roll with the punches, because all you're going to do is stress yourself out even more.
And butter up the gate agent.
For sure.
Take goodies.
Bring goodies for your flight attendants and for your gate agents. I swear,
he made
a baked good will go miles. That's all I'm
He
gonna
made these
say.
dream bars. They had graham cracker, chocolate chips, and
So
coconut, and we were taking care of like kings. On pretty much all the flights we go on.
Even if you're flying in economy or in main cabin.
Sorry if you were the families that were sitting around us when we were eating a sundae. We're not trying to brag, but I'm sorry.
Yeah. we were getting bottles of champagne and first class meals, and everyone around us was giving us death stares. But butter your flight attendants up; they're going to take care of you.
So even if you're a non-airline employee, flight attendants like gifts.
Yeah.
I
Anyone. This goes
promise
for
you,
anyone.
It goes ground crew like gifts. If you want upgrades, I mean, whatever it may be, you just butter them up.
Nothing's guaranteed. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
I'm not saying that, or I'm not saying they're going to give away the house for free, because that's not
going to happen.
That's not in our profit margins for the airlines the airline we work for, but also in the airlines we get to fly on, and that's not definitely what we're trying to convey or put out there. That's not going to happen.
Well, I feel like we've talked for a long time.
Yes.
But it's been fun.
It has.
And again, I noticed just us filming this length, I mean, I can tell that we've gotten more comfortable as time goes on. It's always, I mean, this is just so outside of our wheelhouse, but I'm glad that we're doing this. I'm glad that we're starting this. I feel like us putting this video out is going to make us continue, because what I don't want to do is like start it and have a really good idea and then it just fizzle out. So I think if we keep doing it and we keep posting it, it's going to light a fire under us. Yeah, repetition is key. That is 100% accurate. So,
and we'll get better as time goes on. So if you want to be along for the adventure, subscribe wherever
it is. I see people pointing.
Know,
we'll get it down, but I say
okay, wherever.
I think it's subscribe here, and then there's like a thumbs up button, like that too. Leave us a comment as well. Hopefully a nice one, but we are
don't
open
be
to
the haters. I'm
criticism.
sipping tea, but don't be a hater, please. We are human.
But we are super excited to begin this journey. Thank you for watching it this far. And we can't wait for you to see what's in store next. So like he said, he's going on a trip tomorrow. He's going to take the camera along with him. Oh, we got off on a tangent and never finished that story either. So his friend Brandy, we like to go on super long tangents.
We're not going to end it just yet.
So his friend Brandy's going to give him some moral support. I said that she needs to be his cameraman, but we'll see how she feels about that. Again, she has no idea this is happening.
Don't worry, I'm going to get her NDA before we do any filming.
But he's gonna take the camera along for the journey, and then we'll go from there. So we will see you guys tomorrow.
Have a good day.
Have a good one.